Hello and welcome to Raise the Bar, the Sky High and Fly Jump Camps podcast, where we talk to athletes and coaches and trainers about the latest techniques and training and stories and events and results and everything that we can having to do with high jump, long jump, and triple jump. I'm happy to announce part 3, the last and final part of the Doug Nordquist interview. Doug is an old high jumping nemesis god, a guy who just jumped so high in compared to what I did. He's out of the stratosphere. Very graciously spent time with us, told us all kinds of stories, training, just different little bits and pieces of the puzzle here and there. And so we're going to start part 3 right now. Just hold on to your hats and enjoy as Doug shares more insights and experience with us here on Raise the Bar. I hate to plug another guy's business, but have you been watching any of the stuff from this guy, the knees over toes guy? Have you seen him?
No. What is it? Knees over toes? Is it
knees
Instagram?
over toes guy? Just if you write it out the way it sounds, it's like 4 words: knees over toes, and then guy. He's a former high school basketball player with an 18-inch vertical, had nothing apparently, and tore out his ACL.
Right.
So he had surgery done, and now if you watch his workout stuff, he goes incredibly slowly through all these incredible ranges of motion where one-legged squats, two-legged deep squats, like past parallel, past everything, and is in incredible shape. When you watch him do his stuff, he's talking to you as he's doing this stuff without losing his breath. And now he's got like a 40-inch vertical. He can tomahawk dunk, windmill, and you're watching all this stuff. Looks like he's in his either late 20s, early 30s,
Now, is that a website or is that on Instagram? What's that?
It's on Instagram. I'm sure he has a website as well, because he very quickly got into selling his programs, and it shows you these workouts that he's doing and all this stuff. And he's got a lot of testimonials from people that have had, these major surgeries that are now, coming back. So there's stuff in there. He calls it bulletproofing your knees and bulletproofing your shins. So he's got these different things from I don't know if you've seen these monkey's feet. Have you seen the monkey foot thing where it looks like a ski boot where you can hook a dumbbell to it? So it clamps around your foot, but you can attach a dumbbell and then you can do hip flexor stuff, right? Or hamstrings or whatever. Yeah. Great idea. And then also a thing where you can hook your feet in like you're going to sit in a Roman chair, but you hook your feet into it, and it's just basically this little thing where you hook it onto a plate, 25 or 35 pound plate or whatever, and do the tibialis raise with those. So it's got a couple of nice little things in it where you're watching it going, I need to get one of those and do those a lot. I remember the Shin Splint thing you're bringing up. Obviously, if somebody knew exactly how to fix that, I think it would go a long way. But besides raising the tibialis anterior, what else did you do other than icing, which I'm sure we've all done to it?
Just a lot of flexibility. I remember when I was at Fullerton College, the Al Fiola was our sprint hurdlers coach, and during recovery he had us do dork walks, which were toe up, toe in, on tiptoes, and I'm going, that's back in the 70s. And that's again, trying to keep those shins, because I had shins. The only time I had shin splints was my freshman year, and it was tough.
Yeah. I think when the lower leg matures, I think it can kind of go away unless you really do too heavy a volume after that, which, you can break it down. But
so, they've got, I'm not well versed in this kinesio tape, but I've seen some things online about different tape jobs with the kinesio tape, and I don't understand the concept behind that stuff, but the people that use it swear by it. I don't. You put blue painter's tape on a shin and it takes it away. I know it's not that, but it's just and the different colors have different properties, and I'm going, is it the emperor's new clothes, or is it really helpful? I don't know. But there are people that swear by it, and you see people run with it. So it must be working. So, but that would be another thing. I've got one kid that's got terminal shin splints, and it's like the thing that I tell her on a regular basis: your job today for workout is to walk away not in pain.
Right.
Don't go until it hurts. Stop before it hurts, so we can come back and so she'll.
The rest thing is becoming bigger and bigger, I think, too, right? Because I remember, having talked with you and some other high quality jumpers. Lee Balkin told me, for instance, when we trained at UCLA, when he and Dell were there, we didn't have a coach. James Keith had left.
Right.
Tellez had left. So when we got there, Bob Larson shakes my hand the first day, and he
goes, Larson from Grossmont Community College.
And he shakes my hand. He says, "I'm the high jump coach," and I'm like, "Oh, great!" I read the article in Sports Illustrated when Dell jumped 7.25 at NC2As.
Yeah.
And it mentioned Bob Larson's name, and I'm like, "Oh, great, Bob Larson." He goes, "I don't know anything about the high jump." Literally, first time I met him, he tells me.
I remember meeting Bob Larson when he was at Grossmont, because I was still at Fullerton.
Mm-hmm.
And we went down there, and I had just had a meet. I had just come off of 2 weeks of an injury, and I missed twice at 6'6", and I was screaming like a banshee. And my little brother was on the team, and he came and got in my face. He says, "You prima donna, blah, 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 blah." Yeah. So I made 6'6", 6'8", and 7 feet in this dual meet down in Grossmont, and I remember Larson coming over and congratulating me and talking to me. And then the next year he was, "Oh, hey, UCLA," or not the next year, but within a year or 2 years down.
Well, the upshot of all that is we didn't have a coach. So when I was working with Dell and Lee, they were kind of the coaches, and we were doing workouts, but we were basically human lab rats. We were just experimenting, doing crazy stuff. I mean, I can't even tell you the bounding up and down the bleachers and the lifting in the weight room and probably incredibly high volumes of short approach and everything else. And I keep thinking I probably took about 5 years off my legs just by the overtraining through there, because you just, like you said, you didn't think about it. And I have kids now that I'm training that they're not one of my kids. I coach at Los Alamitos High School, so if I'm training an athlete from another school, you only see them the day you work out with them, and then they're doing their regular practice. Right. And their coaches are making them do whatever they do.
Right.
And I've had these kids tell me, "Yeah, well, I jumped with you, and then I jumped the next day, and then I jumped on Thursday, and we had a meet Friday, and then we had another." And I'm like, no, wait. Yeah. We got to have a talk,
Right. Well, that's the problem. This COVID year, the kids on the basketball. I had a kid came out from basketball who jumped a little bit last 2 years after basketball, but he had a full basketball practice, and he said, "Okay, we got to meet on Thursday. This is your first practice." I said, "Okay, we're taking 6 jumps. That's all. You count at 6 jumps, we're done. Because if you've been at basketball all day, jump, right. And then we come out here and we jump, and you go to basketball practice tomorrow, and then the meet on Thursday, your body's not going to be able to." So, I hate the term less is more, but at that point, he's doing more and more. So on my side, I gotta be conscious about. So and my kids probably in a joke, I don't know about your kids, but they probably take a max of 10, 15 jumps max a day, or on once a week, and then we have the meet.
Right.
And so it's not 50 jumps in a practice.
Yeah, especially the longer approaches also, because then you got, I've been trying to do more, short approach stuff forever. That was the staple of, Elias, but they still add up. They still add up, and but the full approach ones, man, you can't do much there. Now, do you think you were talking about the importance of the run-throughs? Can they do more run-throughs and not worry about the volume?
Yeah, next week, in fact, our Thursday meet, we have our meets on Thursday, and I can't usually I go jump Tuesday and we have the meet on Thursday, but I'm gonna have to go Monday because I've got a commitment on Tuesday. And I was thinking about going in on Wednesday and just running approaches. Just maybe doing 5 approaches. And I tell the kids to do this, say on the day before, do your good warm up, and then say, okay, go through your mind. Okay, the bars for my guy. Okay, the bars at 5 feet. First step 5 feet. First step 5.2. First step 5.4. 5.6. 5.8. And then 5.10. And to do that several times, or not several times, but do that twice and run your approach. And in your mind, you're doing that in your, you're thinking it is, so yeah, running your approach is part of that. And then I also remember tell the kids, okay, we did 10 approaches and we did 10 jumps. Okay, I don't want you to do exactly what the sprinters are doing. Let's do, one less of the intervals, or, adjust that, because a lot of them do the sprints as well.
Right. Shorts. You can do some short sprints.
Yeah.
Do you ever have them run anything over 100 meters?
The early year, yeah. They'll run some 200s and 300s early,
right.
And then, but later on.
But as you start tapering down,
yeah,
100s and 50s, maybe speed endurance.
Yeah.
So real quick, we're in my mind not dragging on, but it could be dragging on.
Can you hang on just a second? Let me tap a kidney real quick. I know that's going to go real well in your podcast.
Okay. I'm about to ask Doug about what was I going to ask him about? My brain just shut off. What are the best techniques, technical elements to improve, for high jumpers to improve on, to get from, say, the good high school level, high school boys jumping anywhere from 6'6", let's say, to 7 feet, to where they start competing at the really higher levels, and for girls, let's say 5'6". So my last subject that I had in mind was, in your estimation, I think we both agree, if you're jumping 6'4", 6'6", you start verging, in high school, there's a lot of people that have jumped at that height that have gone on to, jump tremendously high.
Right.
And there are other people that, that's as high as they're ever going to jump.
Right.
For girls, let's say 5'6", approaching to 6 feet, again, good at the high school level. 5'6", almost in California every year, 5'6", no misses, probably goes to state now. And then, if you're jumping 5'8" or 5'10", obviously you're going to be fighting to win it. What do you think, Doug, is the most important technical element to implement for these guys to step up to the next level? Because so many of these kids naturally can come out and, like you said, you get yourself a basketball player with some hops, and you might be able to get them over 6'4", 6'6", and they might not master any higher techniques.
One thing that you mentioned a couple times, vertical jumps and box jumps. There's a significant difference between jumping off of 2 feet and jumping off of 1 foot.
Yes.
Just because somebody can slam dunk off of 1 foot or 2 feet from a stand doesn't mean that they can take 5 steps and run and jump. But secondly, I'm a big, you as well, I'm a big advocate of community college, because it's a place where even if you're, a marginally good high school athlete, the community college now, it's interesting because the top class is still there, that the elite athlete at the community college, the heights, the speed, the times are about the same, but it drops off really quick.
Right.
I've seen. And so you can probably go on and continue and hone your craft, and then maybe you'll be able to get a Division I, Division II, Division III scholarship, or compete at that level. Right. The thing that if I say, the one thing that I would tell kids that are trying to get to that next level is your technique. The biggest flaw I see in the college or the high school kids is, one, they don't have an approach. They don't know how many steps they take. They don't. Last week we had a school over, and this girl was taking 14 steps, taking off past the middle of the bar.
Right.
She knocked the standard over, and I'm thinking, am I
gonna kill
liable if
herself.
she misses the pit because I'm in charge, or is it the coach that's telling her,
Right.
But they don't know, and I blame that on the coach, but he's probably a math teacher who came out for the first time, is just trying to figure it out, and
right.
So I would say they need to master their approach first, and run the curve. And doggone it, man, there's so many good videos on the internet of good jumps. Barshim, just
I know.
And there's so many good Ukrainian and Russian girls out there.
Right.
And Cunningham, she's doing a lot of things right.
I tell you what, I was amazed when I watched her on video. How good she was.
And video yourself. Back when I was a kid, we had to get the Super 8 film, finish the reel.
Yeah.
And then we had to take it, get it developed. Right. And then you found out that you opened up the camera too early and you exposed all the film.
Right. Or you're looking at videotape that's so grainy you can't see anything.
Sure. Yeah. And then, but funny story, when I was a kid at Sonora, we used to, on rainy days, we'd watch film loops, that day's videos. And I remember one of my goals at that time was, I want to be on a film loop. And Orr McMurray, he put me out there, a technique film. So, and then video yourself and compare and contrast. You use a formal educator terminology,
right?
And see what you're doing, because most of the kids don't have enough rotation over the bar, including mine. They need to run the curve. And you mentioned your golf analogy. Trying to do things in the air is like me telling my ball not to go in the water.
Right.
After it leaves the club face, there's nothing that I can do to change that path of that ball.
Yeah.
Same thing in the high jump. Once you leave the ground, you cannot do anything to change the path of the parabolic path of the center of mass.
Yeah.
You can manipulate your arms and legs to try and create rotations or slow down rotations or whatever, but everything's set in stone. So,
right.
To coach backwards from that takeoff, and if they can remember, because the kids, what I look at over the bar, how's my arch? I say, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're 6 inches over the bar, but you're still knocking it off because you don't have rotations.
Yeah.
And I love. I share this story every time I talk about the high jump. Almost, I remember being at Trabuco Hills High School, one of the big meets they have every year, and the coach yells at his kid on the field, "Stay in the air longer." Yeah, coach, you got it.
That's it. I love it. That's one of the greatest bon mots of all time. Right. So you put the emphasis on the approach work.
Sure.
And then this is just a quick. I was just thinking of all the. I was doing some talking while you were gone and telling people more about the all-time list here in the U.S., which you would know better than I would. Now, Charles Austin jumped 7:10.5 and won the Olympics in '96. Is that right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then Hollis jumped 7:10, or
no? He jumped it indoors. He's the indoor 7:10.5, and
Charles has outdoors.
Charles is outdoors, right?
Okay, so indoor and outdoor 7:10.5 both. So we don't have anybody over 7:11 yet. Like you're saying, Barshim has done that numerous times.
Yeah. Do you follow? Oh gosh, my computer died. A guy named Louis Lett, I think is his name, on Instagram.
No, but I'll look him
up. He's a European guy. I'll get to you a sec, because he posts 1,000 things. Jack Data is one guy that posts a lot of high jump stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Louis, I'd never heard of him before, but he, of course, he's not coming up. But he had a interesting, Louis, Leite. He's, I don't know, somewhere in Europe, but he had a graph the other day of the number of jumps over 245, the number of jumpers over 240, the number 230. Right. And he just does stuff like that. It's just so fun.
Right.
I've never met him, but we're buds on Instagram.
Right.
But only 90 people have jumped 235 in all of history, have jumped higher than 235.
Okay. And what height is that for those of us that don't know?
235 is 7'8".
7'8". Okay.
Yeah. And then 240, I think he said there was 15. I was looking for the graph, and it's not, of course, I can't find it. Yeah.
I've been amazed at how many times, and it seems to hold true with the high jump more than some other events, that how many times the Olympic champion is not the world champion of record for years and years, and sometimes just seems to come out of nowhere. Derek Drown in 2016 from Canada, nobody knew who Derek Drown was, and everybody was looking forward to the showdown between Barshim and Bondarenko.
Right.
And they represented the way they always do. I mean, Barshim was all over the road like he is. He misses, he makes, he misses, he makes. He's all over, but he just keeps going higher. Bondarenko opened up high, only took about 3 jumps to get over, 7, 9 3/4, but Drown never missed.
Right.
They both started pressing. You could see they were like, I don't know if we can beat this guy today.
Well, again, you get into those meets, although Bondarenko and Barshim's meet in New York, they
both jumped 7'11". Yeah.
Oh, that I use that 7'11" jump of Barshim as talking about penultimate step and staying in the curve at the takeoff and rotation. It's just like, okay, 7'11" and a half, and he's 3 inches over it. It's like, if I cleared 7 feet like that, I'm ready. Yeah. Right. Oh man.
I hate to do that too. I love it, but so many times for the kids, I'll be like, okay, look, and I have one of his jumps from Instagram that shows me a perfect takeoff angle, so I can see his slide step, that real quick penultimate body lean angle you're talking about. I show a fast. He does a flash gather, I call it, real quick, hands together and boom. Yeah. And then waits patiently to go vertical and then horizontal before he does anything that looks like a layout. He's like waiting.
You say that term waiting, and I still remember between the before the Olympic trials, it was before the Olympic trials, jumping at Ambassador College with Dwight.
Mm-hmm. I remember those meets.
And pt.3, the official.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I remember I jumped 7.5, and then it was the first time I attempted 7.7. And it's used block and drop, and it was block. Oh wait, and you had to. There was a split second of you got to elevate, and it was like, wow, this is really high. It just learning to hold that vertical a little bit longer to get to that point, and when you go to 7-11, it's a minute before you lay out or whatever. But
I have my new favorite saying is the height of the bar eliminates certain technique flaws.
Right.
Like if you're into throwing your head back in the middle of your takeoff, you're quickly going to find that will become obsolete. The bar gets up a little bit taller than you are.
Your shoulders, yeah.
Yeah, you start smacking it with your head or your shoulders or whatever, and riding that knee drive or whatever it is. But you're saying waiting seems to be the one thing.
Right.
Like you're saying, I like the curve mechanics and all that, but then so many times you just have to teach patience, and you're dealing with high school kids.
Right. Oh, yeah, patience. We want patience. When do we want it? Now.
Right now. I want patience now. Exactly.
I found that graph. So it says 220, 7.2 and a quarter, 2,164 men.
Wow.
225, 7.4 and 3/4, 878, 230, 7.6 and a half, 344, 235, 91, 240, 18, 45, 1.
Yeah.
And it's called High Jump Madness or High Jump. It's a private group.
Wow.
I'll see if I can figure out how to invite you to join it.
That'd be great.
I'm a neophyte here, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm like you said, I'm watching a lot of this stuff, and I was a diehard, double arm pump guy forever and ever. I mean, my high school coach was a shot putter. he was big into making us jump up and down the bleachers, so I was imitating double arm pump and driving my knee and doing that. And I never changed that in college. And then I remember watching the original Fosbury films. And I was like, I tried to, like everybody else has probably done, I tried to imitate that one time. And I can't get off the ground doing that.
Double arm, it's single arm front to back,
right off the ground. That
yeah.
Inside arm comes back, and it's just like, how does he get off the ground? And then I'm looking at him on film. I'm like, well, he's 6'4" and he looks like he's 130 pounds or 140 pounds,
And speaking of him, The Wizard of Foz, a book that it's his bio. I don't know if it's an autobiography or biography. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. In fact, I read it a couple weeks ago. Now I'm reading. It's called Track in the Forest or something about the '68 Olympic trials up at Echo Summit in Tahoe.
Oh, wow.
And, it's funny because Helmer Lodge, the guy who they named Mount Sac Relay or Mount Sac Stadium after, Helmer Lodge, was the USOC president. And all these names of coaches and athletes, it's just spectacular. I'm loving it.
Oh yeah, I gotta get
Wizard of Foz is a great book. It's a great book, and if you go on his website, I guess you can get it autographed. I didn't.
Right.
I posted on Facebook that I was reading it, and he commented back. So
oh, great,
the man.
Yeah, well, I've had a bunch of kids say they still go out there to go to his camps or go to to the relays. Isn't he the grand poobah of like some big? Is it the Des Moines, the Drake relays or something?
No, yeah, but Simplot games, I think, up in Idaho or something he does.
Right. He's just like sitting in his throne, and everybody comes up.
He lives in Ketchum. Yeah.
Well, hey, Doug, I really appreciate the time, and I'm sure we can, we'll get a chance to do this again. Maybe go more specifics here or there,
and talk about high jump.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
I appreciate the time, and we'll do it again, and we'll see if we can't get our good friend Leo. Maybe we can get.
I talked to him this morning. He said, I owe him tell him I'll get back to him. It's just he's not even playing golf right now. We've got this thing this summer we're trying to get together, and he said, I'll play golf in April. I said, it's April. Okay. So he's busier than the one
of the busiest.
Hanger. But when I talked to him today, he was actually going back to see Jason Grimes, a buddy of ours. He's a 27-foot long jumper back in the day. His son is graduating.
Hearing the name, yeah.
He's graduating from Florida A&M or Florida something.
Right.
And so he's down in Florida. And he says,
okay.
Now I remember why I live in California.
Right.
Humidity is horrible.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Fun to play a couple golf rounds maybe, but after that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that Louis Lett, it's on Facebook. It's not Instagram. So you might have to, I don't have you anywhere on Facebook. So.
Right. Okay. So, and it's spell the last name again. L.
It's LUISLEITE. And Kenny Banks, Mike Pescuzzo, Tyke Peacock, Charles Austin,
awesome,
Kerry Myers, Jeremy Fisher, Dalton Grant, Ronaldo Brown, Kenny Banks, some names, Stefan Holm, Ron Kamaka. Yeah,
I want to get Ron. I'll definitely talk with Ron.
Sure. Well, hopefully I'll see him this weekend because I'm going to be helping out at the Mount Sac Golden whatever meet they have on Sunday. So I'll tell him
they're having that the day after Arcadia, huh?
Well, yeah, and it's going to be one of these abbreviated meets and no fans in attendance. A bunch of
yeah, Arcadia's gonna be a nightmare.
All righty.
All right, Doug. Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks, Doug.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, that's going to wrap it up here on Raise the Bar. We just finished part 3 of the Doug Nordquist podcast. Doug was very kind and gracious in spending his time with us. We've done these last 3 parts, about a half an hour each. The interesting parts right at the end, Doug was talking about a book written by all-time high jump great, the inventor of the Fosbury flop, Dick Fosbury, called The Wizard of Foz. if you want to look that one up. Doug said it was a fascinating read, as it should be. And he also mentioned a graph that was shared by a group called High Jump Madness. He hasn't given me any details on that yet. I haven't spoken with him since this interview, but we can find out a little bit more about that. If you send me some requests, we'll see if I can come up with some details there. But basically, he talked about a graph that showed how many people there are in the world that have jumped certain heights. And I believe he started at 2.20 meters, which is 7.2.5, which I was lucky enough to have cleared. And he quickly got out of my range and went to more. I think there were 20,000 people or something, he said, at 7.2.5. And then as it started going up, obviously less and less people. At 7.6, I believe the number was getting close to 200 or 300. And then, very quickly got up to where there's about 18 people that have cleared 7, 9, or 10, and then only one that cleared 245 in metric, which is what Sotomayor cleared. So if those are the highlights, you'll hear those right at the end. And anyway, thanks for listening here at Raise the Bar with Troy Haynes and way more important guests. Okay, until next time, we'll talk soon.